Steelers made a new signing. Came out of left field. I don't know if it means anything, but we picked up punter Brad Wing to the practice squad. Now, many of you may know Brad Wing because he's been on the Steelers in the past, going back to 2014, punted with us for a little bit throughout that season. And then also just this year, seems like forever ago, but yeah, we had a guy not named Presley Harvin punting for us. I think it was in October. Brad Wing punted for us for 2 weeks. Prezi was out with an injury, and Wing didn't do bad, at least in his first game. Second game was so-so. I thought Presley was better than what Brad Wing put out there in the second game and was happy when Presley came back. But we do know since then, Harvin has been up and down. He's been inconsistent. So I wonder if this is Tomlin sending a message to Harvin in any way whatsoever. Now that we're in the playoffs, it's like, okay, bro, we put up with some of the ups and the downs from your putting game so far this year, but this is the playoffs. Like, you might be on a short leash. So that's all I'm wondering. Is it anything? Is Harvin potentially hurt? Because remember, we picked up Brad Wing middle of the season in October when Harvin was dealing with something. Could that be the case? I guess we'll see when the injury report comes out later today. I guess Tomlin's not really going to discuss this or do a press conference on the Brad Wing pickup. Not like he did with Pickens just a couple weeks ago. He did a specific press conference just for the Pickens drama. I don't think he's going to be doing that for us, picking up Brad Wing to the practice squad. But it may mean something. It has to mean something. I don't think it means anything major, but Presley Harvin, I mean, just look out. Look out for any injury reports. Look out for anything. You know, if we advance from this week going into the divisional versus the Ravens, just look for transaction. Who knows? Who knows? Depending on how Presley does in this one. Next, I already mentioned Mike Tomlin. Troy Polamalu, one of the Steeler legends, had a few things to say about him. It was on the Jim Rome show, and here was the quote. Also had a couple other things to say. But first, goes, I think the talk is crazy for people to consider or think that he wouldn't be our coach next year. I think it would be terrible for him not to be. Also brought up that the fans that want Tomlin gone are probably the same fans that wanted him gone, Troy P., and also Big Ben gone. Probably true. I don't think he's lying there. But also mentioned that he thinks Coach Tomlin is one of the greatest coaches in NFL history. And I don't think that is wrong either. You're talking semantics at that point. Where does he rank? Is he in the top 20? Is he in the top 10, top 15? But yeah, he is one of the greatest coaches. You look at his win percentage, you look at his Super Bowl. Like, just getting a Super Bowl means you're a good coach. But add to that he has consistent regular season success, always has the team in the playoffs, or in the playoff mix at least. Never's had a losing season. Never's had a season under 500. 17 straight seasons doing that. It means something. I will say this, though. I get where the Tomlin naysayers are coming from one standpoint. Like, sometimes it feels like Tomlin's praise is a little bit over the top. It could get nauseating because I get the rebuttal of, all right, we're saying all this stuff. We're giving Tomlin all of his flowers, his praises, but we haven't even played our playoff game just yet. We haven't even beat the Bills just yet and advanced in this playoffs. And then if you look at the last 5 or 6 years, we haven't done any big winning. But here's where I think the Tomlin detractors miss it, is because you got to look at the nuance of all this. One, just the fact big winning in the NFL is hard to come by. Like, deep playoff success, winning Super Bowl, like, all that is tough. It is difficult to do. Look at John Harbaugh, Baltimore Ravens. We all agree. I've said this how many times? We all agree. John Harbaugh is a really, really good coach. No? One playoff win over the last how many years? I think, is it 10 years? I think the stat's 10 years. It's an extended period of time, though, which would probably surprise you, but that's a fact. He's a good coach. Are the Ravens looking to get rid of him? No, I don't think so. So there's that. there's also, when you delve into what Tomlin's had to deal with over the last 5-6 years, it hasn't always been the prettiest of quarterback situations. Now, he has had Ben, but for 2 of upcoming on 3 years, this would be the 3rd year. For 2/3 years of the last 5 or 6, he's dealt with a quarterback not named Big Ben. We got the Duck Hodges / bad Mason Rudolph season. That wasn't good Mason Rudolph. That was bad Mason Rudolph. Still get to 8-8. And then just last year in 2022, had the Kenny Pickett, Mitch Trubisky back and forth. Supposed to be a rebuild year. We get to 9-8, almost make the playoffs. And then this year, in his 2nd year removed from Big Ben, we are in the playoffs and are 10-7. Like, that's not stuff to sneeze at. It's not. Like, I get it. We need some deep playoff runs. We need to get back to our contender status. But we also need to appreciate what the dude does on a year in and year out basis as being the leader of the Pittsburgh Steelers. And that's always get us in the playoff mix. The non-losing season record, it's not something to just sneeze at and say, it's whatever. We all want the same thing. We all want to get back to the Steelers of old, the standard being the standard. I think Tomlin is a good guy to take us there. So I think Polamalu hits the nail on the head. I think Travis Kelce, a bunch of the other people, because you hear over the last week or so, media people, former players, even current players not on the Steelers coming out of the woodwork and supporting Mike Tomlin. I'm with them in their support, 100%. The thing that is weird to me, and this goes back to where I side with the Tomlin detractors in a way. I think the praise just it comes out of nowhere. It feels like it's like why are people going out of their way and praising Tomlin like this? Where over the last 5-6 years, it hasn't been it, right? Just bottom line. I brought up the nuance. I brought up the context for these last 5-6 seasons. How Tomlin hasn't always had Ben as his quarterback, et cetera, et cetera. But the bottom line is it hasn't been good enough. At the same time, here's where I disagree with the Tomlin detractors. Like, the reason why people are in full-blown support and maybe have to go the extra mile in their praise of Tomlin is because I think the criticism and the negativity surrounding the guy is way overblown. It's gone way too far. Just 3-4 weeks ago, people were firing him. They're running him out of town. Whole organization needs blown up. Like, that's too far. That's where I go too far. So yeah, it's this. Tomlin's a polarizing guy. I think he's a polarizing coach. End of day, he's a damn good coach, and he's a guy that Steeler fans should be appreciative of for having, and a guy that we should want going forward. Bottom line. Now, going back 2-3 weeks, I think we all could agree, no matter what, whether you wanted Tomlin fired or you wanted to keep him, things need to change up. Personnel, coaching, like offensive coordinators, scheme, etc. How Tomlin does his business, Tomlin's approach, that could maybe have used a switch up. But now, after seeing Mason Rudolph quarterback this team, it doesn't seem like we're too far away, huh? It doesn't seem like Tomlin has this team that far away. We're in the playoffs, sitting at 10-7. Offense looks good. Defense getting healthy. So, yeah. Maybe all we needed was Mason Rudolph. It wasn't as big of a Tomlin thing as people were making it out to be, or just organizational issue as people were making it out to be. But now let's move on. Hold on. Do I want to hit the chat? Let me hit the chat real quick before I move on to the next. And we'll get to the preview at the end. Dabius Ford says Tomlin for president. He would make a good president. I agree with you on that. Kevin GZ says, here we go. Steeler fan 532. We got to win a playoff game. The drought from 2017. He needs a win to shut the people calling for his head. I agree with you, but I also don't agree with you completely, because the Tomlin naysayers will just say he's got to win again. You got to win next week. Like, that's cool, but it's just one playoff game. That doesn't mean anything. It's hard to do. I agree with them from the standpoint, like, we got to be in the mix for AFC championships, Super Bowls, like year in and year out. But we also do have to understand it is hard to win in this league. Coach Cowher didn't go every season without a losing record. Chuck Noll didn't go every season without a losing record. Chuck Noll's last 10, 11, 12 years were mediocre, more mediocre than anything Tomlin's done really throughout the course of his career. Because you look at Chuck Noll's, I think he only had one season of over double-digit wins in that time span in the 80s. Like after our 4 Super Bowls in the 70s, it was a rough run for Chuck Noll. Never fired him. It's just hard to win in this league. You look at Bill Belichick. He's about to be gone from New England. Bill Belichick, everyone considers him one of the best coaches in NFL history, no? If not the best. I'm not saying that. I'll go no. He did it without Spygate. But you get what I mean, man. Andy Reid, he got fired from the Eagles. Good coaches are hard to come by, and I just don't think we should take Tomlin for granted. What Polamalu said hit the nail on the head. What Travis Kelce said hit the nail on the head. I get why some people might roll their eyes. It's like, okay, come on. Like, you guys don't understand. You guys weren't watching this. Now, Polamalu might have been. I don't know what Polamalu's up to, though. He might just be chilling in retirement. Is he watching every Steelers game? But what I was going to say is, like, some of these people, like in the national media or that aren't watching the Steelers play game in and game out, like they don't understand it necessarily from the fan standpoint all the way. It's like, all right, we get the support, but at the same time, we have been living in this weird space over the last like 6 years, ever since 2017, where, yeah, we're good, we're there, but it just hasn't been good enough. It hasn't been to the Steelers standard. Again, there's context to it, though. Few of these years, we've been dealing with quarterbacks not named Big Ben. So you got to give Tomlin some credit for that. Steeler friends 532 totes. I'm pro Tomlin. I'm pro Tomlin too. I think he's a good coach. Don't think he's above the criticism because the bottom line simply hasn't been good enough. But I think he's done a lot of good things over these last 5-6 years that I think people want to ignore. Dells 2-3 says, how about the disrespect with the 9-point spread? I saw it was still at 10 today. I don't know where you're getting the 9 from. All I've seen is 9.5 and 10. So it's even worse than what you're saying. But you want to talk about disrespect? Let's talk about TJ Watt. It's absurd, man. I don't want to keep talking about this. I really don't. I don't. Well, first, he was ruled out for this game officially by Tomlin yesterday. And Mason Rudolph was declared QB1, rightfully so. Those were a couple of takeaways from Tomlin's press conference. Outside of that, not much breaking news, really. We're in a good spot. We're in the playoffs. Not much drama going on. Pickens is happy. Nothing coming out of Deontay's Twitter account. No passive-aggressive stuff. We're in a good spot. We're getting healthy. Minka's coming back. But, yeah, TJ Watt's out. How about this, though? I thought this was amazing. J.J. Watt posts a Photoshop picture of himself and says, think they'd notice. No. I'm looking at this picture. Take the Walter Payton Man of the Year tag off that. I don't know if they notice. You look like TJ Watt. Like if I back up a little bit more, like that's TJ. That's literally TJ Watt. But also, I don't think it would be a bad idea to sign JJ Watt right now. I know it's not happening. I know it's pie in the sky talk. But we only have 3 edge rushers that are active. I know. Then we pick up Peralta. We picked up someone on the practice squad. I'm sure we could call someone up. But we only have 3 guys. Nick Herbig, Alex Highsmith, and Marcus Golden. You mean to tell me having J.J. Watt as our 4th edge rusher out there couldn't help us go on a playoff run right now? In T.J. Watt's absence? Come on. Dude, he's in shape. You see him on McAfee show. He's still in shape. You know he's still getting after it. Dude, just for like 5 snaps, 10 snaps, feeding off that playoff energy, I think J.J. could help us out, actually. I think he could. If T.J. were to have been rolled out for the playoffs, I think this is actually a serious move we should be considering. But I think he's going to be back, hopefully, for Baltimore, if not that. it would be the AFC Championship. I know it's not happening, but it did get me thinking. This Photoshop got me thinking. It's a good Photoshop. But on to still talking about TJ Watt, and his play on the field this year. Was snubbed from PFF's All-Pro team, was snubbed from the NFL Players Association All-Pro team as voted on by the players. This is the second year they started doing that. So this is who PFF has for their edge guys. The first team, Myles Garrett and Michael Parsons. Second team, Nick Bosa and Max Crosby. And then for the Players Association All-Pro team, it's Myles Garrett and Max Crosby. Do I need to talk the stats anymore? I don't know. I'm numb to it. TJ Watt is better than all four of these guys listed here. Has better stats than all four of these guys listed here. Has made NFL history like none of these four guys here have ever done in getting 3 seasons of leading the NFL in sacks. This was TJ Watt's 3rd season of leading the NFL in sacks. No other player in NFL history has done that. So I don't know at this point. I truly don't. I think it's just to rile up Steeler fans. Is that the conclusion we should come to at this point? That's got to be it's just got to be a troll job. But if you're trolling, then I can't take you serious. You're just a joke of a website. You're just a joke of an NFL publication. That's what PFF is. And we've talked about this before, right? Many, many times. But this one's so far gone. This one's bro, everything's so much in TJ Watt's favor of being the best edge rusher this year, of being the decoy. To not include him on your All-Pro team, let alone just the second All-Pro team, is asinine, is blasphemous to use some Stephen A words right now. And then the NFL Players Association list, I guess whatever. We know they get these lists wrong all the time. Even though they're players, that doesn't necessarily mean that they know the other players around the league and what they're doing and how they rank, because they mess up that NFL Top 100 list all the time. But yeah, new day. What's the saying? Same crap, different day. That's basically what we're getting from PFF here. Same crap, different day with their TJ Watt disrespect. Oh well. I mean, if he doesn't win Defensive Player of the Year, it's crazy. I don't know what Steeler Nation's gonna do. I truly don't. Is TJ just getting the LeBron James treatment now, where he's so good we overlook him and try to chase the new player or the hot topic or the new storyline just because we're bored of TJ Watt's greatness? Is that where we're at? He's getting the LeBron James treatment? Because LeBron James could have how many MVPs? A lot more than what he has, I'll tell you that. I think he's got 4 or 5. He could probably get damn near close to 8, 9, or 10 MVPs. The problem with the LeBron James treatment for TJ Watt is he hasn't got the accolades beforehand. In fact, he's only got snubbed beforehand, and now he should be collecting the makeup accolades, even though they're not makeup accolades because he is deserving. But instead of getting what he actually deserves, he's just getting snubbed more. So I don't know what the proper comparison is for TJ Watt, because this is not the LeBron James treatment, because LeBron James at least got his MVPs. He at least got some stuff, and then people got bored with him. TJ Watt got snubbed, finally got a decoy, but is still going to probably get snubbed. Who is that player? What's the NBA comparison for TJ Watt there? I don't know. It's ridiculous, man.